6th year as manager of the White Sox, guiding them to the World Series championship in 2005. And he's already going with the white flag. This game's over, folks. Please drive home safely. We'll see you tomorrow night.
I tell you, he hasn't changed one bit. When he played shortstop for the White Sox, he was always talking. No matter who was out there, if you're on base or whatever, Ozzie was always talking, and he's doing the same thing as a manager.
Here's the defense behind Bruce Chen tonight. DeJesus, Meyer, Guillen in the outfield with Tien, Bloomquist, Hyaspo, and Butler on the dirt. Miguel Olivo, the former White Sox catcher, is behind the plate. Scott Podsednik, who was a World Series hero for the Sox in 2005, their leadoff man for several years, and then was gone for 2 years with the Colorado Rockies. Played a season with Jamie last year. That didn't work out great for him, and now he is back in Chicago and playing very well, hitting over at 300.
You know, he did play well last year. He was a fourth, fifth outfielder, did a lot of pinch hitting. They just went this year with Dexter Fowler, the young kid, and kind of left him as the odd man out.
Chen had him reaching, and an easy play for Hyaspo, one away. Boy, we've had great weather the past few days. Still mild for early July, 88 degrees. Game started at 7:10. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI.
Yeah, Scotty, that's a nice pass to the base. He did an out route there.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to the corner of the end zone.
Quarterback just didn't get a good read and couldn't pick him up.
Ryan, there's a lot of ex-Rockies in the stadium today.
Here's another one.
Yeah.
Jason Nix. Well, the White Sox are very happy with the way he's playing. Now, when he was with the Rockies, he was more of a glove guy than an offensive guy, right?
Absolutely. He was an excellent second baseman, and that's all he really played his whole minor league career. And he made the club last year out of spring training. It was the opening day second baseman, but didn't last too long.
Chen ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nix, the younger brother of Lance Nix, who is currently playing with the Cincinnati Reds. Two and two. Bruce Chen impressive in his Royals debut. Took the loss Saturday at Pittsburgh, but he pitched into the 7th inning. Gave up 4 runs, 3 of those on a 3-run home run. And a changeup strikes out Nix, 2 down in the 1st inning.
You know, what set that changeup up right there was the pitch before that, the fastball in, and that's what he's got to do is throw that fastball in to protect that changeup away. I saw him pitch about 3 weeks ago in Omaha when I went down there to scout, and he had a great outing, and nothing changes with it. He's going to, it doesn't matter if he's AAA or here, he's going to throw his same game.
A little high to Jermaine Dye, who's having a great year. He's hot now, 9-game hitting streak. 294 average, 18 home runs, 48 RBIs. Ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes.
And one of the finer gentlemen in the game, too. Just a great, great guy. You know, when he came up with the, he didn't come up with the Royals. He was traded over from the Atlanta Braves, but he was still a young kid. When he excuse me, Ryan, when he played here for the Royals, he lived here year-round. He really loved it here.
I was going to ask you, because you were part of the coaching staff, was there a hitter that Lamar Johnson impacted more than Jermaine Dye?
Not at all. They had a great relationship together, and Jermaine was still learning at the major league level, young kid, and he really took off here.
Plenty of distance, but he's out in front, and the count is 3 balls, 2 strikes. I remember Jermaine, with the guidance of then batting coach Lamar Johnson, taking the approach of just trying to hit doubles, taking advantage of the big gaps here at Kauffman Stadium and telling Jermaine, don't worry about your home runs, because every now and then the the double will carry into a home run.
And he's learned how to hit over the years, and as the better hitter you become, the more power you get. I had him in 1995 in the Arizona Fall League. He was still an Atlanta Brave then, and just a wonderful kid.
Takes a 2-out walk. And here's tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Who is your favorite ex-Royal that is still playing? Carlos Beltran, traded in 04. Johnny Damon, traded after 2000. Jermaine Dye, traded in 2001. And Raul Ibanez left as a free agent after 2003. That's a pretty good outfield.
Yeah, it's pretty good outfield. And those top three guys there, I'd have a tough time answering that question because I had them all as kids here when they first came up, and all three of them are quality guys.
Blocked by Olivo. Dye holds it first. It's 1-1 on Jim Thome, who's been hitting a lot of important milestones this late in his career. He is currently on the 13th on the all-time home run list. 554 home runs, most recently passing Mike Schmidt. And the game yesterday against Cleveland, the organization he first played with, he collected his 1,600th walk, which is now 12th all-time, passing Stan Musial. So there's a couple of Hall of Famers.
And they got the familiar shift on, the Thome shift. They've been doing this for years. Everybody does it. And you look out there at second base, and you kind of see Callaspo in short right.
Got him with a fastball. Impressive first inning for Chen. He strikes out 2. Jacobs down in the bottom third. He'll hit 7th for only the 3rd time this year. Alberto Callaspo will bat 8th for only the 2nd time this year. Facing 30-year-old Mark Buehrle. This is the 3rd start for Buehrle against the Royals this year. He does not have a decision yet against KC. 12 1/3 innings pitched in his first 2 starts. He's given up 5 earned runs. White Sox won both of those games. Here's the Kia scouting report on Buehrle. Going for his 130th career win tonight and his 20th career win against the Royals.
I tell you, it seems like over the years, coaching here and watching the Royals and the White Sox play, it seems like he always pitches against the Royals. I don't think he ever misses a rotation start when they come through.
Well, this is his 42nd appearance and 40th start against the Royals. And with the unbalanced schedule now and playing every team 6 times, three balls, 2 strikes.
And you got to really watch. You don't want to change your channel or anything because this guy works really fast.
Back to Burley, and he caught it down by his shoe tops. So 1 away. Here's what the Royals lineup has done against Mark Burley. David DeJesus is now 9 for 60. Willie Bloomquist has very good numbers. Billy Butler is hitting over 300. Jose Guillen, decent numbers. And then Mark Teahen, outstanding. Miguel Olivo, respectable numbers. And then Jacobs, Cayaspo, and Meyer don't have a whole lot of experience against Burley. As Bloomquist takes ball 1.
And as we said at the top of the show, the starting lineup for the Royals, they've done well against left-handed pitchers in general. So hopefully, as of yesterday, they got 12 hits off Perkins. So hopefully they can get some meaningful hits today against Burley.
Up the middle, and another base hit for Bloomquist against Burley. So now he's better than a .500 career hitter. 1 on, 1 out for Billy Butler.
Looked like a changeup, stayed up a little bit, right back through the middle. That's his bread and butter pitch, is the changeup. He just got that one up.
Now, Willie is the Royals' leading base stealer, but all of that changes when Burley's on the mound. He has one of the best moves in baseball.
Good move and quick to the plate, so he covers both ends of it right there.
High to Billy Butler. First major league 4-hit game yesterday afternoon. Ended up with 6 hits in the Minnesota series. So he has his average up to 293, and he's better than a .300 career hitter against Burley. Looking at the hitters, Jamie, who have done well against Mark Burley, Bloomquist, Butler, Teahen, at least those are the best in the Royals batting order. All guys that can hit the ball to the opposite field. You don't want to go up there trying to pull this guy, do you?
Not at all, because he's going to live away hard and soft. He's going to tease you down and away. He's going to force you, or he's going to tempt you into pulling the ball. That's exactly what you don't want to do off Mark Burley.
Burley, one of those pitchers that really needs good defense, especially on the infield, and most especially on the left side of the infield. He's got the right-hand batters pounding everything into the ground to the left side.
And crazy enough, it is, you got Jason Nix playing shortstop, and he's really a second baseman. Ozzie uses him all over, but he hasn't played short very much. And Beckham is a shortstop that they moved to third when he came up, and he was drafted as a shortstop. So they're a little raw over there on that side of the field.
Bloomquist got a good jump. Shallow center. Anderson doesn't have a very long throw, and he turns it into a double play. That's it for the Royals in the bottom of the first. 1 hit, nobody left. Gordon Beckham against Bruce Chen with a scoreless first inning. Gave up a walk, but also struck out 2. That's his first walk in a Royals uniform. No walks in 6 1/3 on Saturday at Pittsburgh. Good start for Paul Konerko with 13 home runs, 49 driven in, and that's belted to left. A lot of topspin, and DeJesus able to make the catch on the warning track.
That was the key to that. The topspin allowed DeJesus to get back enough, and the ball actually came down to him.
So Chen may have gotten away with one there. So one away for A.J. Pierzynski. Pierzynski has been tough on the Royals. 15 out of 30.
You know, A.J.'s one of those guys that when you play against him, I know when he was in the National League, saw him with the Giants, seems like all the opposing players, nobody likes him, but this guy is a gamer. He plays the game the right way, plays hard, and he's a good player, but he just rubs everybody the wrong way unless you're on his team.
And players that he has rubbed the wrong way will simply say they respect the way he plays the game, respect the type of player he is, but every now and then will say the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah, he's gotten good at that.
And that is just foul past Tian. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. But, you know, maybe that is blown out of proportion somewhat these days when players are a lot nicer to each other. They have the same agents. They don't take each other out at second base like they used to. But that used to be a part of the game. And, right, getting in some guy's head and talking to him when they're at the plate.
Absolutely. It was part of the game. And A.J. would have fit right in with that because, you know, your job is to do what? Beat the other team. And you always want to know what color hair he's going to be sporting, too.
Well, another thing you know about A.J. Pierzynski every year is he is going to play. 7 consecutive years coming into this season where he has caught at least 1,000 innings. Fooled badly by that pitch, and Chen has struck out 3 in an inning and 2/3. Hey, don't forget about the Bob Evans Bases Loaded 4-pack. It's the complete package. Every Friday and Sunday game at Kauffman Stadium. 4 Royals tickets. Each has $10 you can use toward anything in the ballpark. Merchandise, concessions, all for just $60. So the next time you're thinking about coming to the new Kauffman Stadium, ask about the Bob Evans Bases Loaded 4-pack. This is Gordon Beckham when the Royals were in Chicago last year in August. The White Sox had just signed Gordon Beckham as their first-round pick out of the University of Georgia. So he was a college player last year. And as Jamie told you, a good shortstop. Tried to make the White Sox out of spring training this year at second base. And now playing at third base. Down around the end of the bat, and DeJesus into the sunlight. And that's all for the White Sox in the second inning. Only 9 pitches needed from Chen. And now the Royals in the bottom of the second against Mark Burley, who floats a curveball high on Jose Guillen. 1 out of 6 with an RBI in the Minnesota series. Was not in the starting lineup the first 2 games with tightness on his left side. Was back in the starting lineup yesterday as the DH. He's in there tonight back in right field. 2-1 on Guillen.
And he's one of those good right-handed hitters that does not hit lefties well. He's struggling against left-handed pitching. And there it is. He got him out in front. He hit it semi-hard, but he got him out in front with a changeup, and he reached and hooked it to third. But Jose has not been hitting well against left-handed pitching.
Not the kind of swing you're looking for on 2-1. Saturday afternoons were made for baseball, and this week Fox brings you the national game of the week. You might see the Tigers and the Twins, the Dodgers and the Padres, or perhaps the Mets and the Phillies. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3 p.m. Central on Fox. Ball 1 to Mark Teahen. Teahen 4 out of 11 against Minnesota. You know, going up and down the Royals lineup and what they did against the Twins. DeJesus 5 hits, Butler 6 hits, Teahen 4, Olivo 4, Callaspo 4. So they had plenty of hits in that 3-game series, just not enough when runners were in scoring position.
Timing is everything, isn't it?
Teahen, another one of those Royals hitters that has done very well against Mark Burley, and we're not talking about a small sample size. 426 in 47 at bats. That's a thick 426. Pulls the curveball foul. It's still 1-2.
And one of the main reasons is Burley pitches mostly to his glove side, which means outside to left-handers. He stays on that part of the plate a lot, and that's Teahen's strength, is out there to left center field and left field. It's hard for Burley to crowd him. He doesn't get jammed much, pitch in much to left-handers, so he stays out there where Mark likes it.
And going down to get it, and hits it into left center. But Burley made a pretty good pitch. And Teahen strokes it to left center for a 1-out single.
Curveball there, stays right down with it. You know, that's Mark's strengths out there, ball away from him. He stays right with it, does a nice piece of hit, and hits it right over Nix's head at short.
So Teahen adds to his 426 average against Burley, and that brings up Miguel Olivo. Get his team leading 12th home run during the Minnesota series. Originally from the A's organization, traded to the White Sox where he made his major league debut. In fact, he homered in his first major league game back in 2002 for the White Sox against Andy Pettitte, and that was a sign of things to come because Olivo has always been a lot better in his career against the lefties and the righties.
And another great tidbit, I always thought he originally came up with the White Sox, but he was originally an A.
Originally an A. And then he became a Mariner. And then he became a Padre. And then he became a Marlin. And now at the Royals. Got in on the hands. No balls, 2 strikes. Miguel, sad to see the month of June go. He had 8 home runs in that month. That's twice as many home runs as he's had in a month in his entire career. One and two.
And he was getting regular playing time. You know, John Buck obviously went on the DL, and Miguel got to go out there pretty much every day, and he's done well.
Now, you being a catcher brings up the question that comes up when a former catcher faces a pitcher that he played with. Teahen takes off, and Olivo pops it up into shallow right. That's a long run for Jermaine Dye, but he's there. and somehow getting the throw around Olivo. And for the second straight inning, a fly ball to the outfield results in a double play. No score to the third inning. Let me just finish the thought, Jamie, before the final out. When you're facing a guy you used to catch, it's funny how the pitcher will say, oh, yeah, he knows my tendencies. I'm going to be careful with him. The former catcher will say, nope, it's a completely different deal. Catching him behind the plate and standing there facing him at the plate, completely different. What does you, the former catcher, have to say?
Well, one of the two, either the catcher become hitter, or the pitcher throwing against his former teammate. One of them is going to outthink the other, outthink himself. They're going to try to guess. It becomes a guessing game instead of just playing baseball, see ball, hit ball. You know, you think, oh, I know this guy so well. This is what he likes to do in this count. And inadvertently, you end up messing yourself up. You're better off just acting like he's another guy. You didn't even play together, and go about your business.
2-1 on Chris Getz. 3 strikeouts already for Bruce Chen, which is more than he had in 6 1/3 innings on Saturday against the Pirates. And Getz into shallow left to Jesus right there. 1 down in the 3rd inning. 5 in a row retired by Chen.
Well, yesterday the Royals hit into conventional double plays. Today these are 2 unconventional double plays.
Fly ball to center field in the 1st inning with Willie Bloomquist running. Butler's fly out to center. Anderson throwing back to first to get Bloomquist, and then in the 2nd inning, Mark Teahan at first, a fly ball to shallow right from Olivo. Dye throwing back to first for the 2nd double play. It's 1-1 on Brian Anderson. Tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison. And a couple of guys who are not going to light up the radar gun. It's more about location than velocity. As Anderson hits it just foul off the left field line. Remember, you can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable.
Brian Anderson's always been a guy in their organization. They've really had high hopes for him. He was a high draft pick. They always thought this guy was going to have a breakout year, and he just hasn't quite done it yet.
Callaspo out from second base with Meyer and Guillen behind him, but Alberto takes care of it. 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Tonight's Firestone leaderboard. Take a look at the American League Central Division and what they have done against the division. On the road. The White Sox 20-18. They're the only team in the division that has a winning record on the road. The White Sox also have a winning record against the Central. And if they finish with a winning record against the Central, that'll be 14 straight years the White Sox had a winning record against the division, which is much more important now with the unbalanced schedule and all the games you play in the division.
To me, that's one of the most important things. If you're going to plan on winning a division, which everybody sets out to do, you have to play good in your division because there's so many games. When I was coaching in Colorado and when I was coaching here, it was always, how are we going to get better in the division games? That's how you match up. When you go to make trades and you try to put your club together, it's try to see how you match up with teams in your division.
Before realignment, two divisions, you played as many games against the Yankees as you did the Minnesota Twins. But now, typically, 2 series against every team in the East and the West, and 6 with every team in your division, because the American League West only has 4 teams. There's a bit of an unbalance, and so, for instance, the Royals will go to Tampa Bay twice this year, even though they're not in the division. But by and large, the vast majority against teams in the division. Pulled to Cayaspo, and the second time he throws out Scott Podsednik, and another 1-2-3 inning for Chen. Community Christian Church the past 22 years, and he has worked hard to promote fairness, equality, and the community by co-chairing the Metro Organization for Racial and Economic Equity. And he is sitting in the Buck O'Neill Legacy seat at tonight's game, as Mike Jacobs chases the first pitch from Burley and rolls out to Paul Konerko. 1 away in the bottom of the 3rd.
Burley's a little bit of a throwback, Ryan. Since the 2001 season, he leads this league in a lot of different categories. He's mainly complete games. He's got 23 complete games and 7 shutouts and so on. When he pitches, he's out there for 9 innings.
He is the only active pitcher with 8 straight years going back to 2001 with at least 10 wins, at least 30 starts, and at least 200 innings. Broken bat back to Burley. 3 pitches, 2 outs. And he really has the Royals reaching tonight. Reaching out over their front foot.
Yeah, he's got one of the best changeups in the game, as you talked about. And, it's just hard to pick up. His arm speed motion is so good, and you can guess it's coming, but it still always gets you out in front a little bit.
Mitch Meyer, a couple of hits, 2 walks against Minnesota. 0-2. Well, this is Mark Buehrle at his best. 5 pitches, all strikes, 2 outs. 0-2 on the third hitter. That's the first pitch out of the strike zone.
What I love watching Mark Buehrle, he'll throw it and it's like he's retreating back to the rubber as soon as he lets it go, ready to get the ball back and let me make another pitch. He doesn't mess around at all.
Now, as a hitter, whether he has his best stuff or not, I mean, doesn't that tell the hitter, hey, I like my stuff, I can't wait to make my next pitch?
Yeah, in the dugout, you've got to be watching this, and the hitting coach, and I know, everybody else says, hey, break up his rhythm, step off.
Oh, another Royal reaching out over the front foot, but Meyer pulls it fair over the bag and has a 2-out double.
Yeah, as a hitter, you've got to try to do things to break up his rhythm because obviously he wants to throw, get the ball. Step out, slow him down. That's one of the keys to hitting is you've got to try to break up the pitcher's rhythm.
And now second time through the order, David DeJesus lined back to Buehrle in the first inning. There aren't many pitchers in the league that have given DeJesus as bad a time as Buehrle has. David, 9 out of 60. One of those hits was a home run.
And as a hitter, not so much Buehrle, but I imagine he does know because they play each other so much. But as a hitter, you know when you have a certain pitcher and you struggle against him.
Now, just like I was talking about with Mark Teahan, I mean, that's a big sample size, 60 at-bats. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense because David isn't a pull hitter. He's the kind of guy that can use the center of the field. So it also could be one of those freak things. And you wonder how many of those balls were hit hard.
Well, not only that, there's something that Buehrle does that David just doesn't see him well. Those first 2 strikes were both fastballs away, and he took them. And they were hittable pitches, but he just doesn't see them well. So there's something in his windup or something about Buehrle that just David DeJesus doesn't agree with.
2 balls, 2 strikes. David 5 hits in the Minnesota series and several lineouts. One of the best series that he's had this year as far as solid contact. He could have easily had 8 or 9 hits. Pretty good swing there. It's still 2-2.
Very good swing on a changeup there. That was a pitch that he wanted to hit. His glove. The ball was on him quicker than he thought.
You know, for some hitters too, it can just be the fact that Buehrle's so quick. You know, some guys like a more slower pitcher, more deliberate.
Yeah, that's part of trying to break up the rhythm. And what's Buehrle's job? Break up the rhythm of the hitter.
Pass Buehrle, but Nix behind the bag throws out David, and that's the inning. Royals strand a runner at second base. No score at the end of 3. Fourth inning, no score. Jason Nix making a strike from Bruce Chen, who has retired the last 7 and is not allowed a hit. Just a 2-out walk to Jermaine Dye back in the first. Nix one of the strikeout victims. And he is down quickly 0-2. Well, Ozzie Guillen shifting things around at least tonight. Alexi Ramirez, the White Sox regular shortstop, has a bad finger, so he is out tonight. So Beckham over to third base, Nix to short. There's Ramirez. One and 2 the count.
Like I said earlier, Jason Nix mainly is a second baseman, but the White Sox have been playing him everywhere. He's even, last time they were here about a month ago, he ended up playing right field for a couple innings.
2-2. Speaking of former Rockies infielders, see Jeff Baker traded to the Cubs today.
Bake's a good player. You know, he plays a lot of different places. Came up as a third baseman, high draft pick out of Clemson. In fact, him and Cleo Green were in the same infield, and Baker was the shortstop. Green was the third baseman, and he just can't stay healthy. He's been plagued by injury problems. He's been on the DL most of this year.
Well, it just goes to show you where the Cubs rank as far as attention in Chicago. I was up in the press box before the game, and some of the Chicago media were there, at least the ones that cover the White Sox, and just laughing about how the White Sox have won 5 in a row. They've won 8 of their last 10. But the big news is Jeff Baker going to the Cubs. No offense to Jeff Baker, but
I'm sure Ozzie enjoyed that. Ozzie had some great comments when they were playing each other about Wrigley Field and the fans, and you know, he doesn't hold it back when he talks about the Cubs.
Another foul ball. Ozzie making some news. It really wasn't a story that he started, but apparently there was some sort of a poll recently, and players were asked what managers you would least like to play for. First was Lou Piniella. Second was Ozzie Guillen. Third was Tony La Russa. And fourth was Joe Torre.
It probably was players 25 and younger.
Changeup pounded to left field, gone. Jason Nix, who struck out on a changeup in the first inning. This one stays up, and the White Sox take a 1-0 lead. That was a 9-pitch at bat, which included 5 foul balls. He finally got something he could handle.
That's his 6th home run. He's showing some power since he's been over there, and he has that capability. But he just missed big time with his pitch. Wants it down, got it up. Look at Oliva's glove go from down and in all the way across. And when you make a mistake like that, big league hitters will hurt you.
There was a changeup that hurt Bruce Chen on Saturday at Pittsburgh. He hung a changeup to the Pirates' Delwyn Young, who had a 3-run home run. 1-1 now. Jermaine Dye walked in the first inning. But anyway, all 4 of those managers all have a World Series ring, at least one World Series ring. All, I think, would be classified as throwback type managers who are going to have pretty high expectations of their players. And I wondered if that says more about today's players than it does about those 4 managers.
Oh, I think you're dead on, Ryan. It definitely talks about the players where they're, you know, you got to worry about them and talk about them a little differently nowadays, where you got to coddle them a little bit more, and I don't think Lou's going to coddle anybody. And
nice play by Mitch Meyer and a drive from Jermaine Dye.
He's not afraid of the wall. That's Jermaine at his strength, and Mitch Meyer doing a nice job knowing where the wall is. and not afraid to take a hit.
So one away, and now Jim Thome, who also struck out his first time. Today's league leaders brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers and active home run leaders. Ken Griffey Jr. 621, Alex Rodriguez 566. They homered in the same game. I think it was yesterday. First time since the early 70s that a couple of guys with at least 550 home runs homered in the same game. And Jim Thome, and then Manny Ramirez, who's eligible to come back tomorrow. 2-2 on Thome.
And I love that Griffey and Thome did it the right way.
Mm-hmm. 4 strikeouts for Chen, 2 down in the 4th inning. So 2 down after the home run from Nix, bringing up Paul Konerko, who got on a high changeup in the 2nd inning and lined out to deep left. Frank and I were having this discussion a few days ago about the pitch that has no gray area, like a split or a change, can either be really good or really bad.
Yeah, bad ones, bad changeups and bad splits don't go for base hits. They usually go out of the ballpark.
You can get away every now and then, can't you, with a bad slider or a bad curve, depending on the hitter, because some guys don't like curveballs and sliders.
Yeah, and sometimes a bad slider backs up, and it becomes a heck of a pitch, but you don't know how you did it.
Three 3-0. Home run given up by Chen is just the 67th home run given up by the Royals this year. That is by far the fewest in the American League. 3-1. A couple of stats that will make the pitching coach happy on any team. When you are down around the bottom as far as home runs allowed and walks allowed, the Royals have given up the fewest home runs and the 3rd fewest walks. 3-2 on Konerko.
And looking on the offensive side of it, that's now the White Sox now have 26 more home runs hit than the Royals. That's a big difference in their lineup and our lineup.
And 44 more runs. Changeup. So Chen comes back from 3-0 to strike out Konerko, but the White Sox get a run. This is in the 4th inning.
Yeah, he starts off fastball away, then he goes fastball in, then he goes breaking ball there, and a harder breaking ball. He laid off of both, and he comes back with a hard fastball and just throws it by him.
That's the Arby's pitch by pitch. The White Sox with a 1-0 lead on the Jason Nix home run. 0-1 on Willie Bloomquist. Singled in the 1st inning, making him 12 for 23 in his career against Burley. No balls, 2 strikes. Really trying to break out of a slump that plagued him for most of June. With his hit in the 1st inning, still just 6 for his last 35, and losing almost 20 points off of his batting average.
You know, in an ideal world, ideal situation, Willie's actually playing too much. But with the roster they have right now, he's one of their better players, so he's got to go out there. But ideally, I think to be the best value to the ball club, he's about a 3-4 day a week guy, and it's just not happening right now because they need him out there every day. He might be wearing down a little bit.
A couple of guys to keep an eye on as we get past the All-Star break into the 2nd half if they continue to play almost every day. Both Bloomquist and Caiaspo, who have never really been everyday major league players. For them, though, I assume they see it as an opportunity to show they can play every day.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to admit it. That's the last thing they're going to do because they want to go out there every day. But results usually show, and, you know, that's not a bad thing. You know, they need a day off to just recharge the battery and be ready to play. I mean, they're going to play a lot, but I think they do need their days off.
The Dick Howser Hall of Fame figurine is part 2 of the 4-piece collectible anniversary set. 20,000 fans will receive this figurine on Saturday, July the 18th, and the Royals take on the Rays. We're also getting closer to the opening of the Royals Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame Classic with former Royals greats taking on former Major League All-Stars here at Kauffman Stadium, a game which so far Jamie Quirk has not been invited to. But fans, we can start a petition, get some signatures, hit the streets.
I'm a little mad at Willie for not getting involved in that. I'm going to have a talk with Willie Wilson.
2-1 on Billy. Flied to center in the 1st inning, and it resulted in a double play with Bloomquist being doubled off of first base. Big bounce to Nix at shortstop. 2 down in the 4th inning. And now Jose Guillen. Today's Cabot Woodstein legendary performance. On this date in '99, the Royals were at Cleveland. Jermaine Dye hits 2 home runs off of Dwight Gooden, who played briefly with the Indians. The Royals beating Cleveland 9-7. And right on cue, a fly ball to Jermaine in right field. An easy 1-2-3-4 for Mark Burley. Have out hit Chicago 3-1 through 4 innings. Ryan Lefebvre with former Royal Jamie Quirk. It's still early, but you'd like to see the Royals break this pattern of having more hits than the opposition, but the opposition having more runs.
Well, the key to getting hits, is consecutive hits, and they're not bunching them together. They're getting maybe one in this inning, one that inning, maybe two, but you got to bunch them together if you want to score runs.
A.J. Pierzynski against Bruce Chen, and that's hit hard to right. And one bounce to Jose Guillen. Pierzynski 1 for 2 after striking out against Chen his first time up. And that keeps him with a .500 batting average against the Royals this year. 16 out of 32. And now Gordon Beckham.
What's the soccer player's name?
Beckham.
Yeah.
David Beckham.
No relation.
I don't think so. Talk about a big story that just flatlined, though. Is he still playing for the Los Angeles soccer team? Everyone in the booth is kind of shrugging their shoulders and going, I don't know. Nate Bukaty says yes, and Nate knows soccer.
I'm going to go with Nate.
Tried to pull a pitch that was up and away. Meyer getting behind it. Pierzynski trying to move up, and that was not a very good decision. He was only out by 14 feet.
That's a classic Pierzynski right there. He's not really arguing. He's just going to talk to Timmy McClellan a little bit and make it look good and then run off the field.
Oh, maybe that's what he was talking about. That was a lot closer.
Yeah.
May have gotten that right foot in before the tag. But when you're out by that much, it has to be obvious that you got to the bag before the tag.
Pine Tar Tim's not going to be fooled by that. Yeah.
He's safe. One and two on Chris Getz, flied out to left field in the third inning.
A lot of fly ball double plays today, Ryan.
Third fly ball. Throw back to the infield double play. Chen on one hop retires Getz, and thanks to that double play, he faces only 3 in the 5th inning. salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Mark Burley has given up 3 hits, no runs in 4 innings. One of the hits from Mark Teahen in the 2nd inning. Singled, and then was doubled up on a fly ball to right from Olivo. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Burley's thrown 55 pitches already.
Inside out, and another hit for Teahen against Burley. Didn't hit it hard, but that's the right approach against a pitcher like Burley.
Definitely the right approach. Stay inside him. Fastball. You know, and you get hits like that when you do things fundamentally right. Teahen did a nice job of staying there and just staying inside the ball and try to, in his thought process, the whole at bat was over there, and that's why good things happen.
And now Olivo, who flied to right in the 2nd inning, which resulted in a double play. Teahen with 3 stolen bases this season. Burley has gone over 100 innings tonight with 4, so he is at 103 1/3 innings. He has excellent numbers this year, fewer hits than innings pitched, and he's not the type of pitcher who usually has a number like that. Usually will give up his hits, but not many walks, not many home runs. He has only walked 24 all season, but what's hurting him, I think, as far as being in contention for Cy Young or maybe one of those mid-season Cy Young conversations, is that he doesn't have many decisions. He's 7-2, and he has only 2 decisions over his last 7 starts, so he doesn't have the impressive win-loss record to go with the otherwise impressive numbers.
And a lot of those no decisions have come from lack of run support. They have not been scoring a lot of runs when he pitches.
2-1 on Olivo. Burley is a former 38th round pick. Born in St. Charles, Missouri. He's going to Jefferson City Community College. Busted bat. Out at second. And the throw is wide, so no double play. The White Sox get the lead man, Teahen. 1 down in the 5th inning.
Broke his bat, got in on him. Teahen does a nice job getting down on gets and makes him throw a little bit down the line and break up the double play. And fielder's choice, and Miggy's on first.
And Mike Jacobs at the plate. Grounded out to first in the 3rd inning. So Burley, not really recruited out of high school. Not drafted out of high school. The only deal he got was to go to Jeff City Community College, and then the 38th round pick in '99. And that doesn't surprise me because he's not an overpowering guy, so you could see how he might fall in the draft. But what did surprise me is that he was in the big leagues the year after he was drafted. Now, guys like Gordon Beckham, who's at 3rd base for the White Sox tonight, 1st round draft pick, and you give him a lot of money, you're going to try and get to the big leagues as quickly as possible. But a 38th round draft pick in '99 in the big leagues in 2000, he must have been remarkable in the minor leagues.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
Gets out at second base. This time the White Sox do turn the double play. Their 3rd double play tonight. Meyer the catch, Pierzynski the tag, Meyer the throw. Kiaspo lost his balance applying a high tag, but Pierzynski ruled out. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And not a lot of offense so far, a 1-0 game through 5 innings with just 6 hits. There have been 4 double plays, and 3 of which have been fly balls to the outfield. Throw back to the infield double plays.
Very unusual.
Bruce Chen has given up just 2 hits, a single and a solo home run to Jason Nix to go along with 5 strikeouts in the first 5 innings. It'll be Anderson, Podsednik, and Nix in the 6th. That changeup's a little low. Anderson popped out to second in the 3rd inning. One and one. You're talking about how the White Sox have been waiting on Brian Anderson, who was drafted in the 1st round in 2003 out of the University of Arizona. Tien, nice play at 3rd. So Anderson is 0 for 2. Chen getting some help from his defense.
Very nice play. Reactionary at 3rd base. It's just all instinct. Mark does a nice job right there. Picks it right off the dirt. Line drive out.
Who would have ever thought, though, Jamie, that the White Sox would have so much trouble finding a regular center fielder after Aaron Rowan was traded to the Phillies. Now he's with the Giants. I mean, Aaron Rowan was a nice player. He wasn't a prototypical center fielder, but White Sox figured they could replace him. And they just had a terrible time finding a regular center fielder since.
Yeah, it's been one of those problem positions for them. Where, you know, obviously, I think when they traded Aaron Rowan, they had Brian Anderson in mind, and it just never worked out that Brian Anderson has ever been able to take it over on a daily basis. They platoon him, and he goes in for defense, but they have not been able to find that center fielder that they like consistently. They had Podsednik there in 2005 when they won the World Series, but, you know, then he moved on.
Podsednik with an Ichiro-type swing to stay alive. It's been a very pitch-efficient night for both Bruce Chen and Mark Burley. Still 1-2 on Podsednik, who has grounded out to second twice. The James B. Nutter pitch count. Burley at just 62, Chen at 81. That looked like a guy playing pepper.
You know, I talked to Scotty before the game, went down to say hello to him, and we were talking about this run and swing thing he's been using a little bit. He did not do that last year, but Scotty is one of those guys. He'll outthink himself at times, and he's been using this to just kind of keep himself movement toward the pitcher rather than pulling off, and he doesn't do it every pitch. It's kind of like just kind of gets himself a little rhythm going, and so far he said this year it's been working for him.
Whoa! What happened there? Greg Gibson started to ring up Podsednik, and then it sounds like in mid-sentence said no. Podsednik thought it was a strike. He was on his way to the dugout. Listen.
Oh, no!
He said, oh, no, but his right hand was coming up. Podsednik was just going to say, you're right, I'm going back to the dugout.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, that looks bad, but you know what? If Greg Gibson thought that was the right call, then who cares how you look? Just make the right call.
Right, exactly. And that ball was down. But a pitch or two before that, Gibson was yelling into the Royal dugout. I think they're worried about when Scotty runs up like that, his foot is out of the batter's box.
And he's just trying to finesse the ball into left field, not even taking a full swing. So he's out on a little half swing pop up to Bloomquist, 2 down in the 6th inning. You think he's trying to get that all the way out to left field, or is that is that a bunt?
No, he's just trying to punch it. He's trying to punch it over the infielder's head and try to get that grass out in the outfield. But that's something new he's come up with this year. Like I said, Scotty's he's a gamer. He's one of those guys you want on your team, but he can outthink himself sometimes.
Well, Jason Nix with a home run in the 4th inning. That's the only run of the game so far. Hit a hanging changeup into the White Sox bullpen. Chen struck him out with a changeup back in the 1st. So a good changeup, a strikeout, a bad changeup, a home run. Off the end of the bat, shallow center. Meyer coming up. Has to block it with his body. So Nix has a 2-out single and has 2 of the 3 White Sox hits tonight. Well, fireworks are tomorrow, not the 4th of July. It's a special Independence Weekend Fireworks Friday from Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Also an Independence Honda Buck Night with dollar specials on hot dogs, peanuts, small Pepsis, and game day magazines. So if you love 4th of July fireworks at Kauffman Stadium, don't forget it's tomorrow night. 4th of July game is a 12:10 afternoon start with the White Sox. Jermaine is lined to deep center, walked tonight. He is also one of the subjects tonight of You Call It, presented by Sprint, and 33% are calling Jermaine their favorite ex-Royal, followed by Raul Ibanez, Carlos Beltran, and then Johnny Damon.
I'm going to lean toward Damon or Beltran just because they were drafted Royals.
One ball, one strike. I think of all the players that the fans have booed the most when they've had the opportunity, it certainly has been Johnny Damon. And that might stem from, this is before I got here, but an ad campaign of kind of George Brett passing the torch onto Johnny Damon, and the fans led to believe that Johnny was going to be the next big franchise player here, and had some good years, and represented by Scott Boras, and portrayed as a guy that was more interested in money than he was loyalty to the organization. And he still hears it when his teams come back to Kansas City.
Johnny plays hard. He has for a long time. I think he's got 13 or 14 years in now. And one thing about Johnny is he's going to give it his best, and he's playing on some pretty good teams. Won a world championship in Boston, and now he's with the Yankees. And I like Johnny.
Force at second base, and that's the inning. So Chen is still only giving up 1 run through 6. at one point in the top of the 6th inning. So 1-0 White Sox. Alberto Callaspo leading off against Mark Burley. In our Sonic Slam inning, our contestant is Vicky Sheets from Greenwood, Missouri. Lovely Greenwood, Missouri. Popped up, and Konerko across the line to get Callaspo, who is 0 for 2. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Vicky Sheets will win $300. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Vicky wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. You ever been to Germany before?
No, I have
No,
never. You
haven't driven on the Autobahn?
No.
Greenwood, Missouri is Missouri's Autobahn. Did you know that?
I did not.
It is the anti-Autobahn. In fact, people from all over the world that are training to drive in funeral processions will go and train in Greenwood.
Where is Greenwood?
Just south of Lee Summit. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th inning. Mitch Meyer is 1 for 2, and now David DeJesus. Our next telecast in HD tomorrow night. 7:10 first pitch. Zach Greinke against John Deng. Zach going for his 11th win. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. And 0-1 on DeJesus, who is lined back to the mound and grounded out to short. Only 68 pitches so far for Mark Burley. It's 0-2. David now going 0 for 2 tonight is 9 out of 61 against Burley.
You know, as well as Burley's pitching, Chen's hanging in there too. I mean, it's a 1-run game, 1-0. This game is out there. I mean, they can't worry about Burley throwing well and like he's got their number. It just takes you keep grinding and battling, and we can try to get Burley before they go to those big boys out in the bullpen.
2-2 on David. Very similar to Glenn Perkins yesterday, just using his defense. Burley doesn't have a single walk. He doesn't have a single strikeout. Every out a result of his defense. And the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2 on DeJesus. Still a full count. White Sox tied with the Twins for second place in the Central. Coming in tonight, both teams 3 games back. The White Sox right now might be the hottest team in the American League, winning 5 in a row and 8 of their last 11. Hit hard to center, but Anderson is right there. So David 0 for 3, and the Royals down quickly against Burley in the 6th. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Well, an inning ago, the Royals appeared, we don't know this for sure, but appeared to be complaining about Scott Podsednik's movement in the batter's box. The next half inning, Trey Hillman went out to talk to home plate umpire Greg Gibson. And after that half inning, all four umpires got together on the infield.
Yeah, I'm sure they were talking about his little walk-up swing where the Royals dugout obviously thought his front foot was outside of the batter's box when he was making contact, which would result in an out.
Jim Thome has struck out twice against Bruce Chen. Chen with 5 strikeouts tonight. 2-1 the count.
To me, Ryan, I don't really know how a home plate umpire could see where his front foot is if you're watching the ball. It would not be his call. I just don't. I've heard that argument before where he's out of the batter's box, but
slicing and sinking, and it gets past to Jesus. And Jim Thome will stop at second base with a double. Royals are lucky that wasn't a faster runner on the bases. But you could see that ball had all kinds of movement on it.
Yeah, that ball was hit hard, slicing. Might have even gotten the lights a little bit. It looks like right at the very end he kind of turns his head a little bit, and I think that's where that might have been the light factor.
So runner at second with nobody out. Bob McClure is going to go out and talk to Bruce Chen before the Royals pitch to Paul Konerko. Four-game series with the White Sox tomorrow. It's John Danks and Zach Greinke. Danks 6-6. Zach is 10-3. Royals live at 6:30 with Joel and Jamie. Frank White will be back tomorrow. He is out of town for his son Terrence's wedding. .97 pitches for Bruce Chen. Ron Mayhay warming up behind him. Chen only went 76 pitches on Saturday at Pittsburgh. And you can see the big scar on the inside of his left elbow. Tommy John surgery at the end of the 2007 season. Missed all of last year. He has retired Konerko twice. Once on a strikeout, the other time on a line out to deep left.
Did you see where Mike Lowell of the Red Sox, he started this hip injury thing? Everybody, that's the new 2009 injury, is the hip thing. And he wants the surgery to be called the Mike Lowell surgery.
Well, there's something to it. Lowell, Alex Rodriguez, Alex Gordon, Chase Utley had it this past offseason.
Brett Myers, the pitcher.
Brett Myers for the Phillies has had it. Konerko to the opposite field. Again, Thome does not run well. And Guillen hitting Butler, but first and third and nobody out. So the White Sox had only 3 hits in the first 6 innings, but back-to-back hits, greeting Chen in the 7th. And now Chen right at 100 pitches, and out comes Trey Hillman.
Ryan, that's how you win championships. You got a guy like Paul Konerko, has 13 homers, 49 RBIs, hitting 5th in your lineup. You got a leadoff double, and he does his job. He says, I'm going to get him over to third. I'm not going to worry about driving him in. I'm going to get him over. That's my #1 goal. Got him over.
responsible for a couple of runners as he leads with nobody out in the 7th inning. But this is the second straight start that he's gone into the 7th. So Tomey at third, Konerko at first for Ron Mayhay. And we'll get a left-hand batter right away in AJ Pierzynski.
Yeah, Bruce Chen, outstanding job. You know, whether these two runners on are charged to him and they score or not, still, you can't ask for anything more than he's given them today.
AJ Pierzynski greeted warmly at Kauffman Stadium as he digs in for the third time. Struck out in the second and then singled in the 5th. He is hitting .500 against the Royals this year. 16 out of 32. To Bloomquist on one hop. And the Royals are going to turn a double play. The White Sox get another run. The Royals will take the 2 outs. No RBI for Pierzynski. It's 2-0 Chicago.
Good job. You know, it's still, you've got 9 outs left to hit, and you take, you know, anytime you can get a double play for a run, you'll take it.
And now the rookie Gordon Beckham with the bases clear. He has flied out twice. One of those flyouts, a double play. Beckham at third. Josh Fields, who was at third base in the first 3 series between the White Sox and the Royals and has played well against the Royals this year, but overall is hitting in the 230s. The White Sox getting a look at Beckham, who is starting to warm up at the plate after a slow start.
Yeah, they're starting to use Josh Fields as a utility type player too. He's a very good athlete, quarterback in college, and he was their third baseman earlier, and now they're moving him around a little bit.
Fooled by the splitter, the split change. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice pitch, straight down, good rotation on it.
Two and two.
He figured I'll try it again. After that, he just tried to throw that one a little bit harder.
And he ended up getting him with that pitch. Olivo, Beckham way out of the baseline, but Olivo gets it down to Butler to end the inning. Gives up just a couple of runs in 6 innings. Ron Mayhay getting all 3 outs in the 7th. Around the League brought to you by Panera Bread. The Yankees are down to Seattle. Yankees have won 7 in a row. Baltimore and Los Angeles later tonight. Angels half-game lead over the Rangers in the West. 0-1 on Willie Bloomquist. Single for Willie in the first inning, flied out in the fourth. And that is out of play off to the right field side. No balls, 2 strikes. The Royals with 4 hits against Burley. But Burley has gotten 3 double plays. 2 double plays on fly balls to the outfield. And 1 ground ball double play. So 4 hits for the Royals, but only 1 runner left on base. And that was a statistic that really stood out in the Minnesota series as the Royals stranded 29 runners in the 3-game series. So they were getting their hits like they did yesterday, 12 hits, only 1 run, getting men on base, just not getting them home. Remember, you can stay connected to the game on your computer with MLB.tv. You'll get 100 out-of-market games per week. You'll catch games you missed on demand. And a premium subscription lets you pause, fast forward, and rewind live TV. Willie shoots it to right, and Jermaine runs it down.
He hit it well. That's how you want to do with Burley, is go the opposite way, or at least try to stay on it. Jermaine's deceiving. He just got those long loping strides and ran it down.
Not many balls found the grass at Kauffman Stadium when Jermaine Dye was in right, Carlos Beltran was in center, and Johnny Damon was in left. 1-0 on Butler. He is 0 for 2 so far. Back to Burley. 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. Billy is 0 for 3. And now Jose Guillen, who is 0 for 2. Burley on Saturday against the Cubs took a no decision. He went 5 2/3 innings, and what was notable about that, he had gone 13 consecutive starts where he had gone at least 6 innings. White Sox ended up winning that game 8-7, but just kind of getting back to how dependable he is.
Yeah, he's a horse.
And if Getz can make this play, Burley will give the White Sox 7 innings, 8 pitches in this inning. Chen working quickly, both pitching into the 7th. Burley getting through 7. Only 1 Royal has reached second base. And the 2 runs for Chicago. Jason Nix hitting this hanging changeup for a home run to left field. And A.J. Pierzynski hit into a double play with runners at first and third in the 7th inning, getting the 2nd runner home. So Mayhays, 2nd inning. You'll get Chris Getz, Brian Anderson, and Scott Podsednik.
This is where the Royal bullpen has got to do their job and just keep it tight. Hopefully that offense can scratch out a couple, get back in it.
Mayhay coming on with runners at first and third and nobody out. Got the double play from Pierzynski, struck out Beckham. Gets his fly to left, grounded back to the mound. Hit hard to right. Guillen took a step in, but able to do some fancy footwork to recover and retire Getz.
The ball had a little hook on it, looked like. He squared it up pretty good.
And speaking of outfield play, here's tonight's defensive play of the game, brought to you by the Home Depot. Mitch Meyer against Jermaine Dye back in the fourth. The Home Depot doing more on defense. It's 0-1 to Brian Anderson, who is 0 for 2. The White Sox are playing more games like this. Before winning the World Series in 05, they were just a slugging team. They would hit a lot of home runs, but they weren't winning a lot of games. Ozzie Guillen took over as manager, and even though he played most of his career in the American League, he did most of his coaching in the National League and was really influenced by that style of play. So he influenced general manager Kenny Williams, persuaded him to go out and get some more defensive-minded players like Scott Podsednik, Tadahito Iguchi, who was their second baseman, and a more balanced offense. Got them a World Series championship in 2005.
As far as team batting average goes, they're only hitting 7 points higher than the Royals, but the home runs come into effect, but and runs scored. But as far as batting average, they're not lighting the world on fire.
Last year, they kind of got back to the old White Sox ways. They led the major leagues in home runs. More than 50% of their runs last year coming from a home run, so they went back to that more one-dimensional offense. And Ozzie Guillen, as soon as the season was over, even though the White Sox ended up winning the division, when the season was over, said he wanted to see more balance. And so 5th in the league in home runs, but even though they've gone down in home runs, they've gone back up in stolen bases. They're 6th in that department.
Ozzie likes to put pressure on you. He likes to be the guy that forces the issue a little bit.
Podsednik has grounded out twice and popped out.
Anderson's not really a stolen base guy, but they could put the ball a little hit and run, possibly get him in motion. But as far as straight stealing, he's not really a stolen base guy.
Oh, 0-2 on Podsednik. Taking a couple of pitches almost as if he's waiting for Anderson to get a jump. Anderson has stolen 2, but he's been thrown out 6 times. Anderson took a couple of steps towards second. Olivo on it quickly. And it's 1-2 on Podsednik. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. White Sox with 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 7th. 2-2. Anderson takes off, and Olivo just couldn't find the grip.
That was excellent base running. As soon as he saw that ball hit the dirt, he took off. I think it might have been a delayed steal. He wasn't going right away.
They're going to give Anderson a stolen base.
He wasn't stealing on that. He just read it. When that ball went in the dirt, he took off. Yeah.
And now they've changed it to a wild pitch. And now the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2 on Podsednik. The White Sox signed Podsednik in mid-April with no real clear role for him, but they are sure glad that they did sign him, because about a month after doing so, Carlos Quint went on the disabled list with a foot injury, and he is still out. Podsednik has been the everyday left fielder. Got an off day yesterday at Cleveland. Before that, he had played in 45 consecutive games.
He's one of those guys, he keeps himself in tremendous shape. He's got a sprinter body, constantly stretching because he knows his legs are his game. Notice Brian Anderson did
So Podsednik at second base, 2 down. Jermaine Dye on the inside corner, strike 1. Caspo calling up Butler, and the inning is over. The White Sox add a run and lead 3-0 to the bottom of the 8th.
I was in an auto accident.
So 3-0 White Sox to the bottom of the 8th. There's our buddy Chris, who made the Royals last road trip, driving on his own to Houston and Pittsburgh. And Mark Buehrle has been doing this all night. Pitch efficient, using about 1, 2, maybe 3 pitches to get outs tonight. And Buehrle, you may have missed what he just did, but when he got that ball back from Paul Konerko, he threw it to the dugout as if, I want you to save this ball for me. And the reason is, I guarantee you, it's like, hey, I got Mark teeing out.
Well, the camera was on his lips, and reading his lips, he says, I got him out.
So he's having fun out there tonight, and now the second pitch of the inning is lifted to left. So 2 pitches, 2 outs. Teehan had singled his first 2 times up, making him 22 for 49. Got him out. That's why he threw the ball over to the third base dugout. He might have Teehan autograph that ball at some point during this weekend series.
I tell you, the Royals are playing right into Buehrle's hand. He's just throwing pitches, and they're swinging at him. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and finally Jacob takes one. I think he was probably told to take a pitch.
He's retired the last 10. Jacobs has grounded out twice, once into a double play. One ball, 2 strikes. So 7 2/3, 4 hits. 3 of those singles, no walks, no strikeouts. He has really used his defense. who have turned 3 double plays behind him. And only 87 pitches. Number 88 records his first strikeout. Now he's retired 11 in a row. Don't forget, after the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel Goldberg and Nate Bukaty tonight, brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. The boys will be out inside Rivals Sports Bar on a very comfortable night in Kansas City, and a very comfortable night for Mark Burley, who has thrown 88 pitches and going for a complete game shutout, and his offense has provided him with 3 runs. Jim Thome has scored one of those runs, led off the 7th inning with a double, then scored when Pierzynski bounced into a double play. All of those plate appearances against Bruce Chen. Chen also struck him out twice.
Jim Thome's the ultimate professional to have around. He's obviously been around a long time. He's got great numbers, and he teaches these young players how to play the game right. He is a very, very good guy, solid veteran to have on a team.
Into center field, so he beats the shift. Tien was the only infielder on the left side. Second hit for Thome. So in addition to being a power threat, he's been a pretty good leadoff man tonight. Both of his hits coming leading off the inning, and now he's going to leave for a pinch runner.
Yeah, there's the shift we talked about earlier in the game. Callaspo basically in right field, and then they got Bloomquist over there playing almost second base. So they've been doing that on Thome for years, and I've seen him do that time and time again where he's leading off an inning. He'll just take his base hit.
So Fields running for him at first. Paul Konerko fouls it away, 1 for 3. Singled last time up, helping set up the White Sox second run. Mentioned last inning that Jermaine Dye has hit his 300th career home run this year. So has Paul Konerko. And believe it or not, they did it in back-to-back at-bats at Detroit. 2 teammates, both hitting their 300th career home runs back-to-back.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty good career for a guy that was passed up by a couple of organizations. The Dodgers, who originally drafted him first overall, traded to the Reds. They gave up on him. Konerko was drafted as a catcher, but at the time, the Dodgers minor league catching coordinator was Mike Scioscia, who eventually became a AAA manager and then now the manager of the Angels. And the decision was to make Paul Konerko an infielder, playing a little bit of third base, a little bit of first, but he was stuck behind Todd Zeile and Eric Karros. So traded to the Cincinnati Reds and then to the White Sox.
Yeah, remember that was definitely not because of lack of production. He had great minor league numbers. Dodgers didn't feel they had a place to play him.
Gets his second hit of the game. The White Sox trying to add on late, have 2 on, nobody out in the 9th. And now A.J. Pierzynski. Let's visit You Call It, presented by Sprint for the last time tonight. Asking you, who is your favorite ex-Royal still playing today? And 32% saying Jermaine Dye, followed by Raul Ibanez, Carlos Beltran, and then Johnny Damon. Now, you said Damon because he came up through the Royals system. So did Beltran. Maybe that's why they are least popular. You feel like those were our guys, our system. Maybe they, according to the fans, should be a little more loyal to the organization.
I can understand that.
And both left, at least the feeling was, because of financial reasons. Both have the same agent.
And knowing both of them as young kids and watching their career, I think they both left because at the time the Royals were not winning, didn't look like they were going to go anywhere, and they're both players that wanted to play on winning teams, and they both have.
The Royals really had, at the time, a worst-case scenario of not winning games, so you're not drawing a lot of revenue, yet players with career years. So they're due a lot of money because of the numbers they're putting up and because of the arbitration process. But since you're not playing, you're not filling the ballpark, you're not getting the money you should from merchandise and broadcasts and all that.
Yeah, the system allowed them to make money, and it was kind of obviously hurting the small market clubs.
You were part of the coaching staff in '99 and 2000 when Royals were a lot of fun to watch because of that offense with Damon, Beltran, Dye, Randa, Sweeney, Fabulous. Ray Sanchez was making all the plays at shortstop, scoring runs like crazy, set a franchise record for runs scored in '99. Did it again in 2000, but had a tough time getting outs in the last 3 innings of the game. All those 7th, 8th, and especially 9th innings when that gate would open in the bullpen and everyone would just hold their breath.
Yeah, it was tough. It was demoralizing to the players on the field where, you know, you couldn't win games 9-8 every night, and that's kind of what was happening. And you'd end up trying to outscore them, and it just wasn't happening. And then constantly losing games late like that, it was just demoralizing.
Three and two on Pierzynski.
That's why a bullpen is so important, Ryan. Is, you know, you play 7, 8, 9 innings and try to keep a lead, and you're busting your rear end for 3 hours, and all of a sudden it takes 10 minutes to lose a ball game, and those are the kind of losses that take over and just really haunt you for a couple days afterwards.
Chance for another double play. Pierzynski's safe, so he beats it out. Pierzynski grounded into a double play his last time up. Wasn't going to let it happen this time, so first and third, one away.
And whether you like him or not, because he can obviously get a lot of boos in a lot of visiting ballparks, AJ, your catcher, here it is, the 9th inning. He's been catching for 2 hours, and he busts down the line and stays out of a double play.
And there are some guys in the game, and he might be the perfect example right now of you hate to play against him, but boy, you'd sure like to have him on your team.
Absolutely.
One strike on Gordon Beckham, who was 0 for 3. The Royals in the bottom of the ninth will have Callaspo, Meyer, and DeJesus. Nobody warming up in the bullpen as Burley has only thrown 88 pitches. There's Jeff Cox, who Joel Goldberg was talking about during Royals Live before the game tonight. A product of the Royals Academy. Gonna have to hurry. Out at second, Callaspo to first, and Butler can't hang on. So run scores to make it 4-0. And Beckham ends up with an RBI.
Well, it's going to be a bang-bang play at first, and they just don't get it done. The ball's low in the dirt, and Billy just cannot quite pick it right there and allows the run to score.
So Beckham drives in his 15th, and now Chris Getz, who is hitless in 3 trips. Another ground ball, and Callaspo to second and flipped it away from Bloomquist. And Chris Getz is going to get a base hit. Well, that was really the only play that he had, falling down to his knees behind second base.
Yeah, that was, he had no chance of getting to his feet and going to first, so you just take a shot at flipping it. And Beckham runs well, and he got down to second base.
Inside on Brian Anderson. Royals got off to a great start against the White Sox this year. They lost the first game of the season in Chicago, but then won the next 2. Then swept a 2-game series from the White Sox here in Kansas City, and that's when the Royals were in the middle of their 6-game winning streak, and now the ball gets away from Olivo. So the runners will move up. But then Chicago was here again at the end of May, and they swept a 3-game series. So Beckham to third, Getz to second. No ruling yet. It sounded like it got a pretty good piece of Olivo's glove. And just as I say that, it's ruled a wild pitch. 2-1 on Anderson. Anderson walked and scored last time. Otherwise, he is lined to third and popped to second. 2-2.
That's not a wild pitch. That's a pass ball. The ball didn't hit the dirt. It sunk on it. Miggy knew that ball was. He called the sinker. He knows where it's going. He went about it the wrong way. He turned his glove completely the wrong way to catch the ball.
The power of Fox Sports Kansas City. The replay is shown, and it's changed to a pass ball as Meyer runs down Anderson's drive. So rule that a pass ball. White Sox get a run to give Burley a 4-0 lead. a shutout tonight. He has given up 4 hits, 3 singles in 8 innings, only 88 pitches. So very similar effort to Luke Hochevar in the middle of last month against the Cincinnati Reds. Alberto Callaspo taking ball 1 outside. Callaspo has grounded back to Burley and fouled out to first.
Yeah, we're sitting here watching Mark Burley and how great he's throwing, and you just look back on Luke Hochevar's night that night, just to put it in perspective, 80 total pitches. That's pretty phenomenal night.
He has retired the last 11. That's sliced up the line, and it's going to be trouble for Dye. The Royals have a ways to go, but a good start with Callaspo at second base and nobody out.
Looks like a breaking ball that just kind of hung to the middle of the plate, and Callaspo stayed right with it, did what you're supposed to do with it, and shot it down the right field line.
"21 doubles for Alberto Callaspo. And ball 1 on Mitch Meyer. Mitch has the other extra base hit for the Royals, double back in the 3rd inning. One and one. Burley does not have a shutout or a complete game yet this year. And that's into left center. It stays up for Podsednik. So 1 away. Callaspo back to second base. In Burley's career, he has thrown 7 shutouts, including a no-hitter, and 23 complete games. David DeJesus 0 for 3 tonight, but twice he has lined out against Burley. On the outside, 0-1. Burley's no-hitter was against Texas in 07. He faced the minimum. The only base runner he allowed was a walk to Sammy Sosa, and then he picked him off. So he was pitching out of the windup all night. A little bit inside. It's 1-1 on DeJesus.
He's fun to watch pitch.
One and two. Well, the Royals obviously are going to do whatever they can to try and win this game, but if anything, they'd like to get Callaspo to the plate and avoid the shutout.
Yeah, Ryan, no matter winning or losing, I'm obviously in a losing effort, but you never want to get shut out.
And a flare up the left field side is going to drop, and there goes the shutout. So DeJesus with a double, driving in Callaspo, and it's 4-1. You know, Jamie, you hear so often about a hitter not trying to do too much, and those 2 swings from Callaspo and DeJesus, perfect examples of not trying to do too much.
Absolutely. David DeJesus just kind of punched at the ball right there. He knows he's been struggling against Burley. He knows he doesn't pick up the ball very well, so he's just going to say, I'm going to half swing it, almost like Podsednik was doing, and it worked for him.
You know, Burley now at 99 pitches, and that's it. Ozzie Guillen removes him. Bobby Jenks in for the save. Martian fan, I think that's what it said, from Nevada. Royals hoping to get to Martian. That's a big Martian fan from Nevada.
Former Griffin.
So she's fired up. The Royals have snapped the shutout to Jesus at second base, one out in the bottom of the ninth. Now they're going to get that platinum look. Yeah. Very good chance. Willie 1 for 3 against Burley. Takes a fastball outside at 96. .97, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Royals have beaten Bobby Jenks this year. First series of the year in Chicago. The Royals taking 2 out of 3, and in the final game, Coco Crisp with a 2-run home run against Bobby Jenks. Two and 1. Willie is 0 for 3 in prior at bats against Jenks. Bobby Jenks last year becoming the first White Sox pitcher in team history to have 3 consecutive 30-save seasons. And he burst onto the scene in 05 when the White Sox won the World Series. Up the middle, picks it off. Bloomquist running hard is out. 2 down. De Jesus moves up to third.
Jenks was originally, I believe, an Angel farmhand, and he had all kinds of problems off the field and some issues going on, and never really quite made it in the Angel organization, and finally found a home here and got things straightened out.
One of the great waiver claims in this decade. Claimed off of waivers before the 05 season. And later in that 05 season, he was closing games for the White Sox in the World Series. Ball 1 on Billy Butler. Billy yesterday his first Major League 4-hit game. But tonight so far 0 for 3. Billy is 1 for 7 against Bobby Jenks. 2-0. Bobby Jenks, the second fastest in Major League history to 100 saves. He did it in 187 games. .3-0. The fastest was a former Mariners closer, Kazuhiro Sasaki. He did it in 160 games. Started in Japan, pitched several very good years with the Mariners, and is back pitching in Japan again. Three and 1. Royals need Butler on base for a chance. Jose Guillen on deck.
Jenks has only walked 6 guys all year. You know, you watch him pitch, and he doesn't pitch ahead very much, but he ends up not walking people.
And Butler's going to make him throw 3 strikes in a row. Billy off the end of the bat. Jermaine Dye is there, and the White Sox take game 1. They extend their winning streak to 6 in a row. Jenks with his 19th save, and the White Sox have also won 9 of their last 12 games. And that means a win for Mark Buehrle, and for Buehrle, his 20th career win against the Royals. One of the most productive pitchers against the Royals in the Royals' history. He improves to 20-8 against KC. Here's where he ranks as far as pitchers with wins against the Royals. Bert Blyleven, we just saw him broadcasting now for the Twins with 34. Then Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan, Jim Palmer, some Hall of Famers in there. Kenny Rogers, the knuckleballer Charlie Huff, and Mark Burley in pretty elite company, Jamie.
Yeah, he's a big-time elite company, and, he's not done yet by any means.
The loss to Bruce Chen. He is 0-2. 4-1 Sox. Time now for Boulevard Royals Live.